What's poppin', everybody? Cloudboy Bales here, and obviously, we're here with another reaction video to the game. Packers, unfortunately, despite the comeback effort once again against the Minnesota Vikings, it did fall short as the Minnesota Vikings were able to prevail and hold on to get the victory. The final score was 27-25. Even though that there was just so many things in this game that kind of just made you sit there and go, man, I really wish we could have been at full strength because, it could have been different. But there was just so much. The way the Minnesota Vikings offense plays, it was just extremely hard to sit there and say that we could actually showcase and dominate, because we didn't even have Jair Alexander. We didn't have Evan Williams or Quay Walker, and then some people like Devontae Wyatt and got banged up, and Zane Anderson got banged. It was hard because you didn't really have many things to do. Minnesota Vikings offensive line was able to do a fantastic job at not getting pressures the entire game, which is why Sam Darnold looked phenomenal today. And even though I'm going to say we did the best job that we could. We stayed with it, and we had our moments, but Minnesota was able to respond when it really needed it most. And I thought that was really important. Packers, they did the best job that they could do. I'm not saying that by any means, if we would have stopped them, we would have got the ball back, we would have gotten down and kicked a possible game-winning field goal. That couldn't have happened. It's hard because every time I've seen a team attempt to do that, Minnesota always gets the interception in the end. So you know what? I don't think they probably would have done it anyways, because they would have probably played better. Because that was a lot of prevent defense, and then all of a sudden, they got into it. But they just could not buy themselves anything. Only one stop on third down the entirety of the game for the Vikings. One stop on third down. They just couldn't do it. Nothing was working right for them. So obviously now with this loss, the Packers obviously are going to either end up with the 6 or the 7 seed, which is crazy, especially being 9-8 last year and getting the 7 seed. The fact is we're an 11-win team, and we might end up with the 7 seed. It just is absolutely unlikely and crazy that that's how it is, but I guess that is how it is. It's going to likely come down to the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, who will obviously be facing off next week to win the division. Two teams that are unbelievable. You could just sit there and go 14-2 for both the Lions and the Vikings. Now, the Lions still do have to play tomorrow against the 49ers. 49ers are officially eliminated. Detroit, but regardless, if Detroit loses, it's going to have to be, whoever wins the next game next week, whoever wins it. So this is a big, big deal for Minnesota because they needed a win. They're just on such a hot streak right now. They just look hot, and it's going to be hard to sit there and go, oh, can the Packers really make noise in the playoffs? Because certainly from what I've seen, I don't think they were really trying to make much noise up until when Will Reichert missed his second field goal. It was like, oh, we still have a chance here. They were thinking, oh, they're just going to take a field goal, and then they're just going to play. They're probably just going to get out Love. Love was going to be done for the game. They're going to put Willis in, and they were just going to play it I believe that's how they were looking at it. Up until he missed it, they're like, okay, we have a chance. Let's actually try and play and maybe see if we can possibly get the win here. Obviously, by little too late, it was late, but they did their best. I just wish they could have played a lot better. Even it could have been a one-score game in the first half if it wasn't for a stupid offsides call. But I guess that's how things work. Jordan Love, 19-30, 185 yards, and a touchdown, a carry for 6. Didn't really do much. Josh Jacobs had as another touchdown. I think he just has a streak of how many touchdowns he has. 17 carries, 69 yards, and a touchdown, as well as the big fumble in the very beginning of the game that pretty much was like we were driving down the field, and then he fumbles, and it was like, okay, I see how this game's going to go. Manuel Wilson also 6 carries, 29 yards, and another rushing touchdown for him. And then on the other way, Romeo Dobbs led the way, 7 catches, 58 yards. Kraft 2 for 53. Wicks 4 for 43. Belton 3 for 18. Jaden Reed only had 1 for 6. Musgrave had 1 for 4, and Malik Heath had 1 for 3, which was the only touchdown they had. On the defensive side, Javon Bullard and Edgerrin Cooper both led the way with 11 total tackles, 9 for Nixon. The only sack of the day belonged to Carl Brooks, and we also did get an interception that was caught by Carrington Valentine. Browning McManus went 1 for 1, and that's that. For the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Darnold went the way, 33 of 43, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Aaron Jones, 12 carries for 47 yards and 4 catches for 30. Cam Akers had 6 carries for 18 yards, as well as 2 catches for 15 and a touchdown. Justin Jefferson led the way, 8 catches for 92 yards. Jalen Naylor had 5 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Addison had 6 for 69 and a touchdown. TJ Hawkinson, 5 for 68. CJ Ham 2 for 15. Johnny Munn had a catch for 7. And Blake Coleman led the way with 11 tackles. Not much for anything else. Blake Cashman. Blake Cashman, 11 total tackles and a sack and a half. Andrew Van Ginkel also got the second half of his sack. Dallas Turner also got a sack as well. And their kicker was 2 of 4 from the field. They only punted twice because we only could stop them on third down twice in this game. Yeah, it was clear that, you needed your whole defense to win this game. They didn't have it, and clearly, I don't want to sit there and put all the blame on the defensive coordinator, even though I know people are going to. But when you don't have Jair Alexander, Evan Williams, Quay Walker, it's going to be hard for you to sit there and go, you can't win games. Because nothing against Bullard. He can make some great tackles. We've seen it. But the guy is terrible in coverage. 2 of the touchdowns were basically on him not being at the right spot. Evan Williams is a huge difference maker, and I wish we would have had Jair Alexander to actually play one-on-one against Jefferson, because I really just want to see Jair stop ducking out and playing. But if it is the truth that Matt LaFleur wants to hold out these players when it really matters most, I get it. There's no reason. There's nothing you can sit here and do about it. But obviously, now the Packers are pretty much playing for nothing at this point. Next week is a game that's not even going to matter. You might go into this and literally say that Jordan Love doesn't even need to play. That's just how it is. I prefer it if he did, but you might even look at it and say, let's just rest the starters. We don't even care. If we lose to the Bears, so be it. There's nothing really that we can sit there and say. I'd rather have the Bears beat us next week. That way they don't get Travis Hunter. Yeah, I mean, that's the truth of it. I don't want them getting Travis Hunter. So, you know what? Again, I don't want to lose to the Bears either. But if they want to just take it where step by step and not even play anybody next week and just be like, let's just make sure everybody's healthy for the postseason. I don't care who we play. I feel like that's the approach that LaFleur has been going. Because as soon as we were getting blown out before he missed the field goal, they were just taking it like a preseason game. I don't think they were even trying. That's what it looked like. They outplayed us. This Minnesota Vikings team, in my mind, I think is actually playing better than the Detroit Lions at this point. Detroit and Minnesota, it's going to be a head-to-head matchup. I'm actually going to say Vikings do beat the Lions next week because of the Lions' injuries. I just think that's the truth of it. But we'll see what happens. We got one more week of regular season football. Packers face the Bears at home, hopefully to get a sweep on the season of Chicago. We will see what happens if they decide to take it slow and just be safe with it. I don't think they really care what seed we get, because at this point, who knows if the only team I really kind of wanted to face was maybe Atlanta, but I don't think that's going to be the case. If Atlanta wins, maybe so, but Buccaneers are looking dangerous, so I don't even want to face them. And the Rams are defensively have been playing really good, so it's like it's going to be a hard thing. But I think I'd rather go into this and be like, let's go against a top dog, because no one counted us. No one thought we were going to beat the Cowboys, and we won. So I think they got to take this step by step. I think they're just waiting wasting. I think they're waiting and waiting and waiting, and I think they're just going to slowly take it day by day, and I think they're just going to make sure everybody is as remotely possible as healthy for the playoffs in 2 weeks. I just think that's how they're taking it. So it's going to obviously be that. We'll see what happens against Chicago next week. Obviously, a reaction video at the end of that. But I respect the Packers for trying to, at least when they knew they had a shot, they went for it and almost came back and had a chance to win the game with a field goal. It would have been great if they pulled it off, but sucks to suck. But if you like what you see, subscribe below, comment with your thoughts, and obviously we will see you next time. Go Pack, go.